Um, Hello everyone. I'm back, and this is gonna be something a bit different from the usual. What if I could have done? So this time I'm gonna try doing My Hero Academia. What if? Now, for anyone who hasn't watched My Hero Academia, sorry, go watch it. It's pretty nice. Although the main character is, I don't like him. He's shit. But the whole concept of it is pretty cool. Again, I haven't read the manga, so manga spoilers, probably not, or maybe. So if you don't want spoilers, maybe not watch this. But if you don't really care, then please do. So this will be a bit of a unison of Naruto, Marvel, and My Hero Academia. I just thought it'd be an interesting idea. So this is gonna be what if Deku was the Winter Soldier. For anyone who doesn't know who the Winter Soldier, it's Bucky Barnes, the best friend of Captain America from World War II, who was thought to be dead, and then he survived and was brainwashed by the Russian government and Hydra and stuff like that. So it's a very cool concept to implement it in My Hero Academia. But let's start the story. And again, if you don't like Deku What Ifs, or I missed some key events, or I explained something in a wrong way, please tell me, because My Hero Academia What Ifs are also pretty fun to watch and listen to personally. So yeah, let's begin. So we have Masaru Bakugo and Mitsuki Bakugo. It's a couple, and they have children. And these children are Katsuki Bakugo, who we all know and most of us love, and we have his twin brother, Itsuki Bakugo. And Masaru and Mitsuki, the parents, they used to be pro heroes in the past, and they are pretty good friends with Endeavor and his family. And so, again, this is a very fun and nice family, good atmosphere. And so the twins, Katsuki and Itsuki, are best friends, basically. So, when they are three, they go to Endeavor's house, and they meet Shota Todoroki, who is a female Shoto here. She has the same quirk and stuff, but the only difference here is that Endeavor is a good dad. Yeah, he don't do that abuse shit, so yeah, he's good dad. Shota is, again, a bit of an ice queen, because you know, Endeavor's daughter and all. And the twins, Katsuki and Itsuki, both have a crush on her. So I just want to say this so that no confusion comes up later. Itsuki Bakugo, the twin brother of Katsuki, is gonna be replacing Izuku. He's gonna be Deku. So keep that in mind. When I say Itsuki, that's Izuku Midoriya, but twin brother of Bakugo. And here I will call Katsuki Bakugo just Bakugo, and Itsuki Bakugo either Itsuki or Deku, because it's easier to pronounce. So they both have a crush on Shota. Yeah. And their personalities, Katsuki's, Bakugo's, is the same as canon. Basically that bomb personality, like, I'm gonna kill everyone, you know. And Itsuki is a very kind, happy, and gentle kid, you know. So, they're great friends with Shota and Endeavor's family. And yeah. So, when they're four, they go to the quirk doctor. It's Endeavor's daughter, Shota, Bakugo, and Itsuki. So, the two first ones have the same quirks as canon, with Shota having ice, half hot, half cold, and Bakugo having explosions. But they say that Itsuki's quirk still hasn't manifested, and unlike some what ifs, here the parents are good parents, and they're like, oh, we'll wait for his quirk to develop. Oh, okay, yes, they might be a bit disappointed, but they love their son no matter what quirk he has. But we got Katsuki Bakugo, who is a literal piece of shit. And he thinks that Itsuki is quirkless. And from being best friends with his twin, yeah, he starts bullying him, calling him names, and that's when the nickname Deku came from. So we skip 1 year. They are both 5, and it's now been 1 year since the bullying from Bakugo started, and Itsuki is still holding on. Him and Shota are great friends, and actually something that happened with Shota is that she started having a crush on Itsuki. She does know that he might be quirkless, or his quirk hasn't developed yet, but she just likes how kind he is, how happy he is always, and that he never gives up. And she doesn't really like Bakugo because he's a jerk, you know. But Bakugo sees that Shota is going for Itsuki, and he doesn't get it. He's jealous as hell. He's like, why would she go for a quirkless dumbass like him? So, when their birthday, the birthday of the twins come, Endeavor and his family and Masaru and the Bakugo family, they all go to a little park, you know. And in that park, it's like a mountainy canyon place. So it's a very nice national park in Japan. But so they let the kids play around, and Bakugo, Itsuki, and Shota, they go have fun in the forest, and the parents are relaxed, you know. Now Masaru and Mitsuki, they don't know what's going on. Neither does Endeavor. Katsuki hides it, and Shota, yeah, she's told her dad, but he's like, oh, come on, that can't be true, daughter. And so yeah, so they go to have fun, and they arrive at like a place. Very cool place, beautiful views, like on top of mountains. And Bakugo, he looks at Shota and is like, oh my god, I love her so much, but this damn nerd, I want to prove that I'm better than him. So he starts pushing around Itsuki, calling him names again, basically picking on him. And at one point, Katsuki accidentally pushes Deku off the cliff. And Katsuki's life just flashed right before his eyes. He saw all the bad things he just did, and he almost grabbed Itsuki's hand to not let him fall, but it was too late, and Itsuki fell down. And the last thing Katsuki saw was Itsuki looking at Bakugo with just pure rage and hatred. And when Shota saw what happened, she screamed at the top of her lungs, and everyone came, and they saw Shota on her knees, crying, and Bakugo also on his knees, leaning over the cliff, looking down with a dead stare down on the cliff, and just crying, like, I did not deserve this, like, no. And so they don't get what's happened at first, and Masaru and Mitsuki run to Bakugo, and then Endeavor runs to Shota, and he's like, what happened? Where's Itsuki? And Shota is still crying, but she points her finger down the cliff, and they just realize what happened, and they're like, what the fuck happened? Literally, Masaru, Bakugo, who's been always the calmest, the gentlest person ever, just said, what the fuck happened? Everyone's a bit shocked at this, like, but they don't really care. They're like, Katsuki starts crying. He's like, it's all my fault. If only I hadn't been bullying him, this wouldn't have happened. I pushed him off. How could I? And they just understood what Katsuki did. And so Mitsuki gets fucking mad. She's like, you pushed your brother off a cliff? Damn. Okay. That's fuck. Okay. So that happens, and, well, of course Katsuki isn't gonna get arrested, it was an accident, but his relationship with his parents, it's not toxic, but they're just very, very sad. They lost their son, their second son, and, you know, Itsuki was the younger twin, and they loved them both equally, and they just lost their son, and it hit them really hard. Like, Katsuki became depressed, the parents became depressed, Shota became depressed, Endeavor is pretty sad too, because, you know, the kid was fun to be around, always happy, cheerful, and yeah. But let's cut to Deku. Deku is falling off the cliff and thinking about how he doesn't deserve any of this. He just wanted to have a normal life, just enjoy himself, and of course he didn't. He had to not have a quirk, and his brothers had to start bullying him. Now Deku doesn't really hate his brother, but he's just really angry at him for pushing him off and treating him that way when Itsuki always tried to, you know, be great friends with his brother. And at first it worked, but right after the quirk, he understood that, yeah, my brother's a piece of shit. And so, we see him falling down, and everything went black for Deku. Now, for plot convenience, Shigaraki and his little crew back then, they were walking around down at the cliff, you know. And Shigaraki saw a kid just on the ground. This kid had one arm, had only one arm, and he had a scar across one of his eyes. And he's like, maybe committed suicide, maybe got pushed off. I should take him to Master. He might have some potential. Although we need a quirk. We need his quirk to see what we can do with him. And so Shigaraki takes Izuku, and using Kurogiri, they go back to the base of the League of Villains. And there, Dr. Ojiko, oh god, I can't, goddamn, Ujiko, oh my god, I don't know how to pronounce his name, sorry, Ujiko, oh goddamn, Ojiko, and All For One, and it's One For All, All For One, yeah, and All For One. They did a bit of research on the kid, saw that his name is Itsuki Bakugo, brother of two pro heroes in the past, Masaru and Mitsuki Bakugo. Pretty well-known heroes back in the day, you know. But they're retired, had a family, and learned that he has a twin brother, Katsuki. And they saw his quirk, and Dr. Ujiko, because, yeah, he might be evil, but he's a quirk genius. So, he saw that the kid's quirk is very, very interesting. He saw that using his energy that he just emits from his body, he can create things that the doctor called seals. Now, he called the quirk Fuinjutsu. That's the Naruto reference if you didn't get it. So using his quirk, he can store and summon objects he sealed away at any time, and the amount of things he can summon depends on how much stamina he has left. Now, what I mean by that is that he has basically infinite ammo. He can just place his ammo in a pocket dimension and just summon it whenever he wants. Guns, weapons, food, anything. Basically unlimited resources. He just needs to seal them away before battle. Now, Ujiko saw that this quirk is has a lot of potential in military-based stuff, and he saw that this quirk can be taken a bit further. He saw that by combining symbols and stuff, that the user can take his quirk further by placing seals on himself and maybe others. He concluded that shock absorption, paralyzation, and reflection can all be used, but yeah, training needs to be done. And so he told this to One for All, and One for All is like, perfect, perfect, this is wonderful. This kid, he has so much potential. But that family of his, I don't like it. How about we store his memories in another place? And plus it can be used for further research on memory wiping. And so what One for All did to Deku is that he gave him just a strength boost, basically superhuman strength, agility, speed, perception, everything like that. Basically a quirk, but not really. You get it, the things that All for One does. And he also made Dr. Ojiko give Deku a metal arm that will grow with him as he grows up. Basically enhance his body with a bunch of drugs and stuff. But probably the most notable thing he did is that he took Itsuki's memories of his family, Shota, everyone he knew, and he placed them in a USB drive. For plot convenience. This will come in later. So he also gives him... He doesn't give him any memories in return, just blank. He wants this person to be just basically a blank sheet of paper. Nothing inside, nothing outside. Just a killing machine, basically. And so he also gave Itsuki memories of combat, hand-to-hand combat experts, gun experts, weapon experts, basically martial arts experts, everything. And yeah, so Deku wakes up 1 week later. His funeral has already been held. Everybody who knew Itsuki came. They all loved Itsuki because he was always such a happy-go-lucky kid. Always brought the best energy. Of course, nobody really likes Katsuki now because, you know, he pushed his brother off a cliff. On purpose, basically. And so, yeah. So we cut back to Deku. After 1 week of being found by All for One and his crew, he wakes up, and immediately he doesn't have that childish shine in his eyes, that happiness. He just has blank red eyes. Now, I don't think I need to talk about his appearance. You can see it in the picture. But again, he has blonde spiky hair, just like Katsuki, but a bit different. And he also has naturally dark red eyes. But now his eyes are glowing red, but they're blank. No shine. Empty of life. Deep shit, I know. And so, All for One and Shigaraki and some other villains. I'll say that Dabi also is here, because I'll say that Endeavor used to be the same as he was in canon, abusive and like wanted too much from his kids, and that's why Toya ran away and became a villain. But after Toya ran away, Endeavor realized his mistake and became good dad, you know. Of course, he still has family problems because Natsuo, another member of their family, had a very close relationship to Toya. So yeah, but it's better in canon than in canon. But Dabi is in the League of Villains. So yeah. And Deku gets trained by Dabi, Shigaraki, Kurogiri, other people, some combat experts who are villains, some ex-military men who became villains, you know, some brainwashed military experts. Basically anybody you can think of who's strong trains him. Even All for One sometimes trains him, you know, to combat quirks. Now, when Deku is 11. Keep in mind, he can think for himself, but he basically has no emotions, no memories. He's a blank sheet of paper who can think for himself, basically. And he has a partial memory wipe every 3 days to not lose what he learned in combat, but all the important things from... I take that back, no, he only had one memory wipe at the beginning, you know. So yeah. And when Deku is 12, not 12, excuse me, when he's 10, he goes to All For One and says, Uncle All For One. No, he says, Lord All For One, may I ask a question? And All For One is like, oh, hello. Hello, Itsuki. No. He needs a code name. Fine, okay, I'll name him just Subject 1. Subject 9. Yeah. Hey, hello, Subject 9. Tell me, what is it? And Deku's like, Master, my quirk. From what I learned from Master Ojiko, it can be used in a different way. And I asked him about it, and he told me that I need to learn how to write symbols. He called them kanji. Do you have any memories of calligraphy masters that I could use to learn quickly, to learn faster? And All For One is pleased by this, seeing progress from his killing machine. And he's like, yes, I do, actually. So he gives him memories of calligraphy writers. And now, Deku trains for 1 year and placing seals on himself. It's trial and error. He has multiple scars all over his body from failed seals, training. The training is harsh. So yeah. And, so, when he is 12, let's go a bit to the outside world. Shota Todoroki, Ice Queen of the whole world, basically. She blames Bakugo for killing the guy she liked. We can say almost loved. She's depressed. She's just sad. Bakugo is depressed as hell. He blames himself for what he did. He hates himself. And he wants to become a hero to get to atone for his sins, you know? Shota doesn't really want to become a hero, but she has to because of her father. But something about Bakugo is that he believes that his brother is alive. And he has 2 reasons to believe that. One, he just doesn't want to believe his brother is dead, No matter what he did, he still loved his brother more than any person in the world. And he also thinks that he's alive is because the body wasn't found. So most people think it just got taken away by the water, but that was down there. Or that it just fell apart in little pieces on the way down. But he still wants to believe in the best. He has a bit of a rocky relationship with his parents. They understand that Bakugo didn't want to do this, but they're still extremely sad because, come on. Bakugo literally pushed their second son off a cliff, so it's not really an excuse for anything. But let's go to Itsuki. He is ripped, fucking 8-pack, shredded but cut, very agile, fast. His perception is, imagine a Sharingan, but he doesn't have no Sharingan, no Mangekyo here. But his reaction speed, everything is top notch. Physical strength, top notch. And let me talk a bit about his seals that he placed on himself. So he mostly uses his right arm, the metal arm, his left arm for basically all his seals, most of his seals. So on his left arm, he has placed absorption seals, damage absorption, He has placed damage absorption seals on all of his body, but the ones on his metal arm are much stronger because it can handle much more. And he also has reflection seals on his left arm. Basically, he can repel and reflect any quirk, long range and mid range attack. For example, if Endeavor shoots him with flames, he can just absorb and repel these flames. And he also carries little scrolls that he uses. He thinks that scrolls are the most optimum to seal away quirks and damage from quirks and use them later as a tactical advantage on the opponent. He can also place paralyzing seals on people, objects, animals, anything, just by touching them with his finger. And he can also seal away objects, bodies. He can seal... The biggest thing he can probably seal is an SUV. I'll say an SUV is his limit. But he uses his quirk to seal away guns, ammo, food, clothes, all the necessary things he needs in battle to not run out of them. But mostly ammo and guns. Now, he mostly uses close range weapons in hand-to-hand fights, using his fists, also combat knives, axes, anything you can think of. But he's also very proficient in guns. He is sniper, assault rifle, anything basically. And when he is 12, he gets his first assassination mission, his first ever mission. And he shall do his missions from now by the nickname, codename, the Winter Soldier. Winter Soldier, Soldier Winter, you know. So the Winter Soldier has his first assassination mission, and its objective was to assassinate a certain hero who has been abusing his power, you know. Because the League of Villains, they're not that bad here. They just want to get rid of the bad heroes, but also they're kind of evil because they want to destroy the hero society. And they like hurting people, so you know, not as bad as in canon, but still very bad, evil. But they still hunt down fake heroes, you know. And Itsuki gets sent because this fake hero is always in the center of a city, getting attention always. So Itsuki is the best assassin they have. Quiet, stealthy, strong, in case anything happens. Basically, extremely reliable. Perfect weapon, as all for one calls him. And so Itsuki has to go to the center of Tokyo, and he follows this hero around basically for a whole 2 days. That's how long that hero was outside, non-stop, hitting on women, you know, flexing on other men, basically saying that, oh, how cool I am, look at me, I'm a hero. And Itsuki doesn't feel anything about this, because remember, he doesn't have any emotions. And he's never asked himself who he is, he doesn't really care. All he knows is that All For One saved him, and he's thankful. And so at one point the fake hero goes into an alleyway to relax a bit, you know, drink a bit of water, smoke a cigarette and stuff like that. And so Itsuki sees this as a perfect opportunity. He goes on top of the fake hero, basically on top of him, taking out a little sniper, aiming down, and just shooting a little headshot, you know, blowing his brains out. And then he jumps down the roof, goes to the alleyway, seals the body away, and goes, basically, disappears in the shadows of the night. Yes, so no anything, basically no evidence that anybody was here, so the hero just disappeared. And after that, he brought this body to All For One and his crew, and everybody congratulated him on the first mission. Itsuki doesn't feel anything about this. He doesn't know how to feel about the League of Villains. All he knows is that he needs to just do the missions and not ask questions. So that's what he does. But he isn't attached to the villains. He is attached to All For One. Because he doesn't know what's happening. But he does want to learn what's up. So, All For One congratulates him on his first well-done mission. Perfectly done. Nobody could have done it better. No evidence, nothing. And for the next year, the Winter Soldier is just sent on pretty small assassination missions, sometimes even big ones, but nothing too serious. And people have heard of him. People call him the Winter Soldier, because I don't know why they would call him the Winter Soldier, but just call him the Winter Soldier. Everybody's like, he's not widely known, but he is known amongst the hero society as a highly dangerous assassin who has never been able to be caught and never leaves any evidence behind. And a certain hero hears about this and is interested. This hero's name is... you'll know that later. But Itsuki is 13, and his mission this time is to assassinate a corrupt politician who is basically sabotaging the mayor and his decisions on making the city a better place. And he is highly guarded, much more guarded than the mayor. Basically the same as the mayor. And Itsuki is sent there. His mission is to just assassinate the person. The amount of people he kills in the process doesn't really matter. It's advised to not kill civilians because that's not really their point. But he can kill all the guards, you know. And yeah. So Itsuki arrives. It's a dock, a ship dock next to the sea, like those containers, metal containers, and that corrupt politician is taking in drug arrivals from the U.S. because he ordered them. He has a drug business of his own, you know. He's being guarded, doing a little deal, and so Itsuki, he's on top of a rooftop next to the dock, and so he has a burst sniper rifle with him, a few knives, and a pistol. That's all he took this time, because he doesn't really need anything else. So, but in case anything runs out, he has his seals, you know. So, he takes his burst sniper rifle, aims it at the guards. He wants to have a little fun on his mission, you know. Because he likes to have fun, so he wants to kill the guards first, and then the politician. So he does exactly that. He shoots a 3-round burst, and hits all the 3 guards around the politician. Headshot, clean, dead, basically. Now there are 5 guards left. Itsuki jumps down and hides. The guards are like, they don't know what's happening. They're like, what the fuck? He just hit 3 people at the same time. And the politician is scared and he's like, you damn idiots, go kill the person who did this. I don't want to die. What the hell am I paying you for? And they're like, yes, boss. And so, they go searching. And so, Itsuki is hiding amongst the metal containers. And he's taking out the soldiers one by one with his knife. Doing like assassinations like in Assassin's Creed, sneaking up from behind and just slicing their throats. And there's 1 guard left, and Itsuki wants to take him out with style. So he aims his gun at a metal container, and he wants to make the bullet ricochet off the container and go straight headshot. He wants to hit the headshot like clean, and so he shoots it, and it happens exactly that. The bullet ricochets and kills the person. And so we see Itsuki coming up to the politician who's on his butt and just crawling behind saying, "Please don't kill me, I'll give you money, anything, women, uh, power, just don't kill me." Itsuki says, "Sorry, bad luck for you." He just slices his throat, you know. And so, we see somebody else drop down. And this man is wearing a black suit and has a weird scarf and yellow goggles. And his eyes are shining red. And you might know who this is. It's everyone's favorite and laziest hero of all time. The Kakashi Sensei version of My Hero Academia. The one and only Eraserhead, basically. And so Eraserhead's like, "Hey kid, why'd you do that?" Itsuki looks at the hero and says, "Hero, it was my mission. Nothing personal. And, you know, Aizawa, I'm gonna call him Aizawa, has heard, like, shit like that before, but he doesn't really care, so he's like, well, get ready to be taken in." And so he rushes in with his scarf and his quirk activated, canceling Itsuki's sealing stuff. But something that nobody knows, not even Itsuki, is that the seals he's placed on his arm are permanent. So they can't be erased, unless Itsuki wants them to go away. And so, basically, he didn't really lose anything. So Itsuki whips out his knife, does some weird, flippy shit with the knife in his hand, and rushes in. So they get into a hand-to-hand fight. Itsuki is, with his normal arm, trying to catch him off guard, and with the other, stab him with his knife. And because Aizawa is a hand-to-hand combat master, almost as good as Itsuki, basically the same level as Itsuki, they're fighting equally. So at one point, Itsuki gets rid of his knife, pulling it back in his sheath, you know, and is getting into a hand-to-hand combat. So at one point, Aizawa tries to block Itsuki's metal punch, so he doesn't succeed, but he gets sent back flying. The shockwave that it produces, the punch, is just insane. So Itsuki is like, "Well, hero, my mission wasn't to kill any other people. Mine was just to assassinate the guards and the corrupt politicians. So see you next time." And so he disappears. Aizawa like gets back up and he's like, "Oh god, he got away. Who was that kid? He wasn't older than 13, but he could already fight." What? What is going on? And when he went to take the bodies, he found nothing. And he's like, "So that's the Winter Soldier I've been hearing about. Well, he's as good as they say." So, that happened. So, Aizawa comes back to the hero base, to UA, and he calls a meeting of all the instructors and some other heroes, including Endeavor and Nezu and everyone. And he says, "Today I was patrolling the city near the docks, and the politician there was killed by the person I believe to be the Winter Soldier." And Midnight's like, "Did you catch him?" I mean, I just thought that was just stories, but I guess they're true. And Aizawa's like, "Yeah, those weren't just stories, and he is as good as they say. He was equally as skilled in hand-to-hand combat as me. Took all the bodies without evidence. I don't know how he did that. Might have something to do with his quirk. But the most shocking thing is that he's 13 years old. No more." And everyone's like, "What? Such a skilled assassin at 13 years old?" And Endeavor is like, "Did you catch his face? Any cameras?" And Aizawa's like, "Surprisingly, he took out the cameras before the assassination. Perfect. It's a perfectly done assassination. Can't say anything more." So Endeavor's like, "How did he look then?" He's like, mid-length, spiky blonde hair, glowing red eyes, military black combat outfit, one metal arm. Very interesting. Probably has a super strength quirk, but I don't know. a knife appeared in his hand out of nowhere, and he placed his guns and they just disappeared in a poof. I don't know what that is. Probably has to do something with this quirk, but I still don't know. And everyone's like, this Winter Soldier. Interesting. We're gonna have to catch him, take him in. He might be a threat. And so they create a case on him. The case is called The Winter Soldier. Nobody knows anything except for his appearance based on Aizawa's descriptions. So, no suspicions yet. And when Itsuki arrived, he reported that he met a hero, he met a Eraserhead. They fought. He got beaten up, he beat up Eraserhead. And All For One is like, very well, perfectly done assassination. Although the heroes could suspect something about you, because Eraserhead is a very interesting hero. He's a good one. His quirk allows him to cancel other quirks by looking into their eyes. Very interesting. But job well done. You may have a rest now. And so, we cut to another year. And at this time, he's 14. And his mission this time is to assassinate a certain scientist who's been opposing Dr. Ojiko and his research that has been leaked to the public for some reason. And they suspect that there is a mole in the League of Villains. So that'll be another task for the Winter Soldier to do later. But now the current objective is to assassinate the scientist. The only problem is that this scientist is highly guarded at mostly all times. He lives in a bunker, and on the day when he's out, he is guarded by 2 pro heroes who are usually of very high status. And lately, he's been guarded by Endeavor, the number 2 hero, and Night Eye, who can see any attacks coming. So it'll be very hard for Itsuki to do something. But All For One believes that his best weapon, his strongest assassin, is perfect for the job. And Itsuki thinks about it because he knows what missions he can do and what missions he can't do. And he knows that his reflection seals and absorption seals will do good against Endeavor. And he does know that Night Eye is pretty skilled in hand-to-hand combat, but not as skilled as Aizawa. So it'll be pretty easy to beat him up. And so he's like, yes, master, I shall take on this mission at once. And so Itsuki packs up a few guns, a sniper rifle, an M16, and some pistols. I'm not good at guns. Not good at all, but anyways, he packs up some stuff, some throwing knives, his favorite combat knife, checks his seals on his hand to see if they're working properly. Everything's alright, puts on his suit, which looks badass, if you can see that in the picture. And he goes out to do his mission. So, the scientist, along with Endeavor, Night Eye, and a few other minor heroes and the scientist's own guards, are currently in a building, in a skyscraper, in his office, walking around the corridors, discussing some stuff with some other scientists. And Endeavor and Night Eye don't expect any attack because, Endeavor, the number 2 hero, is there, and plus it's Night Eye who can see any attacks incoming. And so they're all relaxed, nobody expects anything, but when they hear some glass breaking, they turn around and immediately see that all the normal guards and 2 minor heroes that have been dealt with already, all headshots to the head, and they already suspect who this is. They're like, God damn it, this Winter Soldier guy, how is he so good at aiming? What is this quirk, man? And so they're on the ready. But when they get on the ready, they forget to look at the scientist. And when they finally remember that they have a scientist to guard, they already see that the scientist's head is down on the ground. And a boy, who looks about the age of 14, 15, in a military suit, metal arm, blonde hair, and eyes glowing blood red, is standing and looking at them from behind, and his knife is all bloody. And Endeavor is all like, "The Winter Soldier, we will take you in for the murder of several people, including mayors, politicians, and minor heroes." And the Winter Soldier is like, I don't think you'll be able to catch me though. I mean, you can try. And Endeavor's like, "Don't mess with me, kiddo." No, that's not what he said. I mean, he starts like raging, fire, and so he shoots a burst of flames at Itsuki, and both Night Eye and Endeavor think that that was kind of easy, but then they see that the fire is disappearing, and they look at the Winter Soldier and they're like, "What?" But then they see that his hand is forward and his palm is stretched out. But then they see Endeavor's attack coming right back out of them. And so they're like, "What the fuck?" So Endeavor manages to dodge, taking Night Eye with him. But Night Eye is like, "I can't see the future. This kid, my quirk doesn't work on him. What? That's never happened before." And Endeavor is like, "We'll have to deal with it somehow. Damn it. We're just gonna have to go into close range. He doesn't look that strong, although Aizawa said otherwise. But he's a pretty lanky guy, so he probably over-exaggerated it a bit. Maybe this guy just trained a bit." And so Endeavor rushes in with his fire boosting his stats, and Itsuki just grins at this under his mask, cause yeah, he does wear a mask. Cause why not? And they get in a hand-to-hand combat fight. This time, Itsuki whipped out 2 battle axes from his seals and started throwing them at Endeavor. One of them managed to get a good cut into his hand, so Endeavor's pretty much in one hand right now, because the other one's like out. So Endeavor's like, "What the? Where does he get those weapons?" Next thing they know is Itsuki running at incredible speeds, appearing behind Endeavor, kicking him back, running towards Night Eye, and punching him straight in the face, sending him back into the wall, creating a bunch of craters and holes through the wall. And so the Winter Soldier's like, "Catch you next time." No, he doesn't say that, but no. He doesn't say a word and he just disappears. And 20 minutes later, Night Eye wakes up to see Endeavor trying to shake him up and waking up, and they see a bunch of police and like firefighters everywhere, and a bunch of corpses, and he's like, "Shit." And then Endeavor asks one of the policemen that where is the scientist's corpse, and he said, "Hasn't been found. It's like it disappeared without a trace." And Endeavor's like, "God damn it, that Winter Soldier, what is his quirk? We need to do some extended research. Did the cameras manage to get a picture of his face?" And the scientists are like, "Well, he didn't take his mask off, so if you're okay with just a mask picture, that'll be fine." And so, well, they give him the pictures, and currently they have a lot of pictures of the Winter Soldier, but all of them are in his mask. And each time the Winter Soldier is looking straight into the cameras. So it's very suspicious about what's going on. And so Endeavor and Night Eye, both pretty beat up, come to the Hero Association, call up a meeting, and they tell the Hero Association that this Winter Soldier guy needs to be dealt with immediately. Like, he is a big threat. We don't know who his allegiance is to, but mostly he's been taken out. He hasn't been taking out any villains. And if he has, they've been reported to be moles in our organization. So it's safe to say that he is part of the Villain League. Interesting. We'll have to take him here somehow. But there's no way to catch him. We don't know what to do with him. And Nezu is like, when? No, I'm kidding. He doesn't say that Master Shifu stuff. But, you know, Endeavor and Nezu talk after the meeting. And Nezu says, Mr. Endeavor, if you wouldn't mind giving me the pictures of the Winter Soldier, I would like to send them to a few people I know. They might know who this person might be. And so Endeavor is like, really? Well, keep me posted on the case. I want to know who this person is and take him in. He's a threat. And he's dangerous, very dangerous. He beat me and Night up without any sweat. He looks just 14. What? This is all weird. I don't know what's going on. But it doesn't sound too good. But he does give Nezu the pictures. And Nezu, he does go and, well, Nezu sends these pictures to a few people he knows that could do a bit of an investigation. These pictures, he sends them to All Might just to keep him informed if he sees the Winter Soldier anywhere to, get him. He sends them to Aizawa, who's also pretty good at detective work. He sends them to Night, who is also good at detective work. He sends them to Naomasa, who's a very good detective. And he sends them to Masaru Bakugo, who used to be a very good detective hero. And Naomasa, when he sees the picture of the Winter Soldier, he immediately has some suspicions. And so he calls up Nezu and all the others who are part of this investigation and calls up a meeting. And he's like, I might have a theory on who this is, but it's quite unbelievable. And Nezu is like, well, come on, spill the beans. We don't have all day, And so Masaru is like, this person looks just like my son. And Nezu is like, you mean Katsuki? But isn't he wanting to be a hero? And Masaru says, no, not Katsuki. More like Itsuki. My son I thought to be dead. But it's unbelievable, he fell off a giant cliff. It's impossible to have survived that. And Endeavor is like, we'll need to find out his identity. I don't know, the kid didn't seem... I don't know what to do anymore. This is also messed up. League of Villains. Now they're getting kids involved. The heck. And so, they all have their suspicions about the Winter Soldier, but they relax for now. And so, Masaru keeps this away from Katsuki, and Endeavor keeps this away from Shota, because they don't want any false hopes. They don't want to give them any false hopes. And so, we cut to 1 year after this, and currently the UA entrance exams begin, and they go as canon, just without Deku saving anyone. I'll say that this time it's... Okay, let's talk a bit about All Might and his One For All quirk. One For All gets given to Katsuki. Yeah, Bakugo is the new One For All. Yep. He's like the hope, because he told All Might when they met at the same time, the same way that Deku and All Might met, but this time it's just Katsuki. He told All Might about how he's done terrible things, he pushed his own brother off a cliff, and that he wants to become a hero to prevent such things from happening ever again, and also to atone for the things he did. And All Might, he was a bit shocked when he heard that Katsuki pushed his own brother off a cliff, but he saw the sadness and the sorrow in Katsuki's eyes, and he's like, "Very well, young Bakugo, I shall give you my quirk, but you shall do good on your word and become the greatest hero. And if your brother is still alive, we shall find him and bring him back." And so, now, this time, Katsuki saves Uraraka. He's forgotten about Shota and her love for him, and his love for her, excuse me, because he knows that nothing will go out of it, because, he pushed the person she liked off a cliff. So, that's kind of done. And so Shota goes in through recommendation, and Bakugo was offered to go through recommendation too, but he went in as a normal because he wanted to prove that he deserves to be here. And so he saves Uraraka this time. And yeah. So I'm not gonna describe anything about UA currently, but it goes the same as canon, just Shinzo is in class 1A, and yeah. That's it, basically. And so the gang, the Katsuki's friend group who are always with him are Uraraka, I don't know how to pronounce it. Uraraka is Kaminari, it's Jiro, it's Kirishima, Tenya, Ida, and some other guys like the Baku squad. And Shota is Ice Queen. She's cold to everyone because she still remembers Itsuki and she just can't find. I'm not gonna say she can't get over him, but she still feels very sad and she doesn't want to give anybody chances, And so around UA and basically the whole Hero Association and even amongst civilians, there are the rumors of a near-perfect assassin, the Winter Soldier. Yeah, those rumors have been going around everywhere. And everybody's scared that, they'll be targeted next. And because nobody ever knows what'll happen, when he'll come, what he'll do to you. And so everyone's scared. And nobody knows how the Winter Soldier actually looks. Only the heroes know how he looks behind a mask. But they all say that, he's scary. And this doesn't go away from Katsuki and Shota and the whole 1A class. And they're like, well, we're gonna train to become heroes and catch that guy. And so we cut to the USJ attack. The USJ, Heroes versus Villains. Yeah, I think that's how it was called. The USJ attack, basically. USJ raid. And so, the moment when the villains come, through the portal comes Shigaraki, all of his squad, and actually someone who is besides Shigaraki is who Aizawa and Nine. What was her hero name? The space person. Yeah, they recognize that that's the Winter Soldier, and they're like, "Class, evacuate immediately." But when they turned around, everybody was around in portals, and so they're like, "Shit. And so this time Aizawa is like, what was her name? 39. Whatever, I'll just call her 39. I don't remember her name, sorry. So 39, go help the others. I'm gonna help. I'm gonna try to stop these villains. And she's like, Aizawa, I don't think you can handle this by yourself. It's the Winter Soldier. You fought with him once before, and that was like 2 years ago. He's probably too strong. I don't know if you should be doing this. But Aizawa said, I need to stop them. And so he rushes into battle, and Shigaraki's like, Winter Soldier, how about you go do a little rematch with Eraserhead over there, eh? And Itsuki is like, yes, Master Shigaraki. And he rushes in, whipping out, I'll say a baseball bat, yeah. And Aizawa sees that the Winter Soldier has a baseball bat, and he's like, God, this guy's weapon choices are very... yeah, they're not regular, but okay. And so, they get into a hand-to-hand fight. Aizawa wants to go for a punch, but you know, Winter Soldier ducks and goes in for the jaw punch with, and Aizawa evades it, but Winter Soldier does a little 360 spin in the air and hits him with his baseball bat right in the ribs. And Aizawa gets sent back flying, like dust clouds and everything. Because, yeah, Aizawa's ribs are broke, a few ribs are broken, and if he doesn't finish this, they might pierce his lungs. And so, all the villains who are there and some students see that the Winter Soldier is here, and he just literally one-shotted Aizawa like that. They're all freaked out, like, what the heck is this? He's the our age. And Katsuki and Shota still aren't there, but they'll arrive soon, you know. But Aizawa stands up and, you know, he runs at Winter Soldier, but Itsuki is like, whatever, don't you never give up. And so he takes out Knuckles, puts them on his hand, and rushes in, throwing his bat at Aizawa in the process, making it go like a boomerang. And so Aizawa ducked it, but he doesn't know that it's gonna go around just like a boomerang. And so he's still running at the Winter Soldier, but the bat turns around and basically hits him on the head from behind, causing him to fall over. And at this time, Winter Soldier hits Aizawa in the chest with Knuckles on his hands. And this basically sends him into the ground, creating a giant crater. And right as when Itsuki is about to stab Aizawa with a knife he pulled out, Katsuki, who is done with his opponents, just comes in and punches Itsuki away, and yeah, Itsuki gets sent away, but he lands safely, and he looks at Katsuki and he's like, oh, and who are you? And when Katsuki looks at the person he just punched, he immediately remembers his brother, and he's like, Itsuki, is that you? And Itsuki is like, no, who's that? And so he takes out Soka's boomerang, sort of like that, and throws it at, you know, Katsuki. Katsuki still doesn't know it's a boomerang. He's like, who is using boomerangs in battle? It'll never hit me. But he's also a bit shaken up because this person looks just like his brother. And so he doesn't expect the boomerang to come around and hit him in the head. But right as it's about to hit Katsuki in the head, ice stops it, and Katsuki looks behind and sees that a boomerang was stopped by ice. And he's like, damn, this would have killed me. And he looks at who did it, and it's Shota. And so she comes and she's like, damn, I really don't want to be helping you. And he's like, yeah. This guy, he's very dangerous, and I don't know who he is. And when Shota looks at who Katsuki was talking about, she immediately remembers Itsuki. And she again starts stuttering and says, Itsuki, is that you? And you know Winter Soldier's, his memories of his past life are in a USB, so he's not gonna have like sudden memories of who he was. No, he doesn't know who he is. He's like, who the heck is Itsuki? Goddamn! And so he summons two M16 assault rifle and just starts spraying everywhere. And one bullet hit Katsuki in the leg. The other one, none of the bullets hit, Shota, because she blocked herself with ice. But Katsuki's like, where does he get all those weapons from? And so Shota's like, we'll just have to deal with it. So she sends a fire at him, but when they think that they just burnt him up, they see that the fire is disappearing, and they see Itsuki's hand. They see the Winter Soldier's hand extended, metal arm extended forward, but then they see him pushing it, cocking it back, and pushing it forwards, and flames come out of it. And they're like, what? He has a fire quirk? And Bakugo's like, probably not. It's probably an absorption and reflection quirk. But that doesn't explain where he gets his weapons from. This guy. What the heck? But they focus too much on the fire and forget about the Winter Soldier for a second. But right as they look at where the Winter Soldier was, they don't see him. So they start looking around, but they forget to look up. And so it's basically Itsuki going down, landing on his hands, and doing a double kick. Spinning around like breakdancing and all, and just kicking Shota and Katsuki in the face. And sending them both flying back. And so that's when All Might comes in, and he lands and stops the Winter Soldier's punch from landing at Shota. And he's like, young man, why would you hit a girl? And Winter Soldier looks up at All Might, and All Might is a bit scared, because Itsuki's eyes are glowing blood red. No emotions, just pure nothingness, just glowing red. And he lets Itsuki go for a second. Itsuki uses this to jump back, and he whips out a little scroll, and he summons giant ice spears, and they go at All Might. And All Might doesn't know what's going on. He's like, where did he get those? Does he have an ice quirk? But then he's like, he needs to dodge. But one icicle manages to hit All Might because he didn't expect it. And so everyone's pretty beat up. Winter Soldier is like, well, Master Shigaraki needs to kill you, not me. So he was like, but I don't know where he is, so I think we should fall back. And Winter Soldier's like, Kuragiri. Kuragiri hears Winter Soldier calling him, and he's like, yes, what is it, Winter Soldier? He's like, where is Master Shigaraki? And Kuragiri says, he's coming, Winter Soldier. Can you handle All Might for now? Winter Soldier is like, yeah, I can. And so All Might rushes at Winter Soldier, and Winter Soldier goes at All Might, and All Might is trying to do a smash, but right as he's about to do that, Itsuki's metal arm catches the punch and squeezes All Might's hand, and it's actually quite painful. And everyone who saw this, all the 1A students, Aizawa, 39, all the villains saw how the Winter Soldier just caught All Might's punch and isn't experiencing any pain or nothing. He's just standing there and squeezing All Might's hand, and All Might's looking to be in a bit of pain, and everyone was like, "What the?" And so, at this moment, Tsuyu, she comes from behind, and she grabs Itsuki with her tongue and pushes him backwards. And Itsuki didn't expect this; he was looking at All Might, and so right at this moment, a Nomu comes through a portal that Kuragiri summoned, and the whole fight against All Might and Kuragiri and the Nomu happened. But this time, because All Might had his leg pierced, he was giving up positions to the Nomu. So that was a bit. But in the end, he still managed to win the Nomu, And Tomura and Shigaraki is like, damn it. Winter Soldier, get Kurogiri and let's get out of here. Leave the others, we don't need them. Winter Soldier goes, grabs Kurogiri by his metal thingy, and runs towards Shigaraki, telling Kurogiri in the process to summon a portal. They do that and they get away. But right as they're about to disappear, he looks at All Might and like the whole 1A group, and they all see his glowing red eyes, but they don't see any emotion in them. No anger, no hatred, nothing. And so Shoga looks at this and she doesn't remember. She knows that she's seen this face before. And so, yeah, that happens. So, yeah. She can't remember who this is, but she knows it's a familiar face. But she can't get her head around it. But the villains disappear in a portal, and we cut to the heroes and the 1A students who are like, wow, the Winter Soldier is that strong. He actually stopped All Might's punch, and he didn't even look that phased. And everybody is very concerned about the Winter Soldier, his abilities, but everybody remembers his dead glare. Like, no emotions, nothing. He's just a doll. And we go to the League of Villains. Shigaraki is breaking everything, wrecking the whole place, saying how their first actual appearance failed. Like, really failed, and that, like, what the heck, it's all their fault, like, all the villains. And he says that the Nomu is useless, couldn't even beat All Might. And, yeah, Winter Soldier doesn't really interfere. So, yeah. Everybody's angry at themselves for not doing a good job. But, yeah. After the USJ, the UA Sports Festival happens, nothing out of the ordinary happens there. The Winter Soldier is just doing a few assassination missions there and there. And, yeah, as I said, Izuku or Itsuki is replaced by Shinzo, and somebody else is in Class 1B, so that doesn't really matter, he's irrelevant to the story. But the Hero Killer arc, that's where something very interesting happens. So, when the Hero Killer comes into the base of the Villain League, they talk, and Stain looks at the Winter Soldier, who's just standing at the side leaning on a wall, just keeping quiet. And Stain asks him, "You, kid, why are you doing this? Did some of the heroes abuse you or something like that?" And Itsuki is like, "I don't know. First thing I remember is waking up in this base. So I've been doing missions for Master All for One for as long as I can remember. But all I know is that he saved my life from something I don't know. But yeah, I owe my life to Master All for One." And so Stain is like, respectable. He could have been a good hero. And Itsuki is like, well, I don't know a lot about heroes, except the ones I have to kill. But mostly the ones I've killed are fake ones. So, I don't know. I just think I'd rather want to kill all the heroes instead of join them. But later on that. And so the Hero Killer is like, I approve it. And so he injures Ida's brother the same as canon. Ida goes there as canon, the whole license thingy goes as canon. And so the person who's with Gran Torino is Bakugo. And so when the Hero Killer attacks Ida, Shota, Bakugo, and Kirishima come and start fending off the Hero Killer. And I'm not going to describe their fight, because you can imagine that by yourself. But basically right is about when Kirishima is about to stab through the hero killer's shoulder with his like hardened hand. Somebody jumps from the top of the building and just kicks him away, causing him to create a giant dent in the wall. And all that Shota and Bakugo can see is a metal arm with a star on it and glowing red eyes under a hood. And Bakugo is like, "The Winter Soldier, come here and I'll beat you up for what you did to All Might." The Winter Soldier doesn't really respond, he just takes Stain and they jump away. Like real shinobi. No. He launches a Majestic Destroyer Flame at them. No. I'm kidding. No. None of that. But basically the hero killer Stain gets away, and everybody again is thinking about this Winter Soldier dude. He's everywhere at all times. It's very, very annoying. We can't even catch the hero killer. Well, whatever. So the final exams don't really matter because, yeah, it was just Shota and Bakugo against All Might, and they didn't work together well at all because they don't like each other. Like, Shota hates Bakugo with a passion, and Bakugo, he can't really do anything about it, you know. And so they don't pass. They pass the exam, but anyways, what really matters. This is probably the most important arc of the story. It's the Island arc. So, for any of you who haven't watched the Island movie thingy, sorry. But, basically Bakugo is the one who goes with All Might as his, like, person, you know? The one who goes with All Might. And the whole attack of Wolfarm happens as canon, but right when Wolfarm appears and wants the case with the quirk amplifier, Samuel, who this time doesn't want to betray David because, you know, he thinks that David is a good guy. Yeah, he basically goes back and doesn't want to give it, but then somebody shoots him in the shoulder, and it's the Winter Soldier. And the Winter Soldier takes the case and goes to the helicopter along with Wolfarm and the rest of the villain crew who were with him. And 1A arrive, All Might arrive, and 1A arrive, and some pro heroes who were also there this time, which included Aizawa, Endeavor, some other pro heroes, including Hawks and Mirko. Basically, those guys were there, and they saw how the Winter Soldier just shot a person in the shoulder, took the case, and is going with with Wolfarm. But they stand down because they can't really do anything, because they know about the Winter Soldier's absorption ability, how he can absorb other quirks and repel them back at them, so they can't really do anything. And Mirko knows she won't be fast enough to get there in time, so they go on the helicopter. Right as they're about to, like, they're already in the air, like a few meters above the air. Wolfarm is like, "So, Winter Soldier, give me the case." And the Winter Soldier hands the case to him, but right as he's about to do that, Wolfarm takes the case and pushes Winter Soldier off of the helicopter, saying that we don't need you anymore. But right as he pushes Wolfarm off the thing, the helicopter gets basically exploded by All Might, who appears, and All Might along with Bakugo killed, basically. They destroy Wolfarm. And so the whole thing is settled, but now Bakugo, All Might, 1A, and the heroes see a giant crater in the middle of the floor. and they see that basically the Winter Soldier is lying there, kind of unconscious, because, you know, he fell off a really high place, and he caused a giant crater, and so they take him in, and they take his mask off, and everybody's shocked. It's a 15-year-old guy, 16-year-old guy, and Bakugo immediately recognizes him. He's like, Itsuki, and everybody looks at Bakugo saying, Itsuki, and he's like, yeah, this person looks exactly like my brother who I thought to be dead. But why was he doing all this? He always wanted to become a hero. And so Shota starts like crying because, you know, this person looks exactly like Itsuki, and everybody is like confused except like the Baku squad. They all know that it was Bakugo's dream to find his brother, and everybody doesn't know why Shota is crying, and they're like, Shota, what's up? And she's like, this person looks exactly like the guy I liked. And so they're like, what? The Ice Queen liked someone? But they have to take Winter Soldier in. They put him in handcuffs and take him away to Tartarus. And so everything settles down on Island. And back at the villain hideout, basically, Wolfarm manages to survive, and he gets to the villain hideout with the quirk amplifier he still has. And basically, when All For One asks him where the Winter Soldier is, Wolfarm says, "Oh, I got rid of that useless piece of shit." And when All For One hears about this, he doesn't waste time and just shoots Wolfarm in the head, saying, "You fool! They'll now know where our base is, and they also have a perfect weapon. Damn it." He's probably in Tartarus right now, can't really do anything to save him. If they check his memories, they'll know where we are. And they'll probably figure out something about the USB. God. That damn useless Wolfarm. Shouldn't have trusted him, should have just sent Tomura there. He could have done the job. Deal with this somehow. And so, now, we go to Tartarus. And we see the Winter Soldier tied up to a table and a chair, sitting with handcuffs on and like restraints. And we see a woman sitting across him, and this woman says, "Hello, my name is Susan. I am an employee here at Tartarus Prison. I am here to check your memory and see what happened to you." Itsuki doesn't respond. He doesn't really care, and she says, "Do you know your name, young man?" And Itsuki says, "Codename Subject 9, aka Winter Soldier." And everybody's like, "Subject 9? What the heck?" And by everybody, I mean Eraserhead Endeavor, Naomasa, the detective, and also Night Eye, who are standing behind like the glass that you can't see through. Also with them is the Bakugo family and Shota, and also all of 1A, because they've been informed that this person is in fact Itsuki Bakugo, the DNA test match. And so she's like, "Why were you working with the villains?" He's like, "I don't know." And everybody's again shocked, like, what does he mean, "I don't know"? And so she's like, "Well, I will check your memory and see the exact reason." And he's like, "Sure, go ahead." And so everybody's like, why is he so calm about this? Does he not know that he'll get caught? And so when she checks it, she sees all of the experiments that were done to him. because Itsuki was awake during that time. But she finds it very interesting how there's no memories of Itsuki before 5 years old. And the first memory that Itsuki has is All for One and a few scientists pulling a USB out of a cable attached to his head. And she's immediately suspecting that this has to do something with the memory loss. And so she's like, well, thank you. And so she goes to the other room with the others, and she says there that, well, from what I can tell, the kid wasn't doing this because he really wanted to. He didn't really have a choice. He has no memories of himself or anybody before 5 years old. The first memory he has is All for One pulling a USB out of a cable attached to his head. Horrible experiments were conducted on him, basically causing him to lose most of his emotions, giving him this metal arm, and to be exact, his quirk is called Fuinjutsu. Basically, this allows him to steal objects and place other types of seals on himself. That's how he was able to summon objects. And Eraserhead says, so a perfect assassination quirk. But Bakugo, you told us that it was your fault that your brother died. Can you explain that? And Bakugo says, yes, I can. Well, I pushed my brother off a cliff. And everybody's like, what? You did what? And he says, yes, I did that. And he starts explaining himself, and tears come up, and everybody sees that he's very sorry for it. He didn't mean to, And Shota slaps him in the face and says, stop making up excuses. You did what you did. Now shut up. And everybody just again looking at Shota, how she's always so calm and everything, but now she just slaps the shit out of Bakugo, And so then Ida is lost his temper, goes into the room, and starts screaming at Deku and saying how it's all your fault that my brother got injured. If only you didn't save Stain back there, we could have taken him in and prevented many more killings. And he started saying a bunch of bullcrap, so much so that at one point even Itsuki, who doesn't have most of his emotions, Itsuki just literally, with one move of his metal hand, he broke the restraints, which were 2 tons of metal handcuffs on him. He just broke them, stood up, chokeslammed Ida into a wall, and said, I really hate pieces of shit like you, you know that? And keep in mind, this all happened in about a split second, so nobody got a chance to react. And so the heroes burst in and separate them. And so Susan and Eraserhead take back Itsuki, and they're like, Mr. Bakugo, we'll have to keep you here. And Itsuki's like, who the heck is Bakugo? I don't know none of that. Subject 9. That's the name. And if you can't pronounce that, just say Winter Soldier. I don't know who the heck Bakugo is. Or none of that Itsuki you keep calling me. And everybody's crushed because, he doesn't know his own name, especially the Bakugo family and Shota. And Endeavor, who is good guy here, actually deserves the number 2 spot. He says, kid, you'll have to just stay here for a while until we figure out what to do with you. Itsuki says, finally a person who can speak normally, god damn it. And so they leave the prison, but before they do that, Shota, she comes up to Itsuki, and she gives him a bouquet of flowers, and Itsuki's like, what's this? And she's like, it's flowers for you. And Itsuki says, thanks, I guess, but who are you? And, she runs away crying because you know her heart is crushed. The person she likes, at least, doesn't know her, doesn't remember her. But Bakugo and Eraserhead and all the heroes and everybody seeing this, they do a dead glare at Itsuki, saying like, we'll kill you. But then he does an even deadlier glare at them, saying, I'll kill you double. And everybody's scared, but they quickly go, and Itsuki is left in a prison cell. And so they calm Shota down and say that, well, something with his memory loss has to deal with that USB. So we'll just have to get it somehow. But right now, you guys need to go to a summer training camp to become stronger. And the whole attack happens as canon. But now, Shinzo gets kidnapped. And here Shinzo is kind of like Bakugo for Izuku. Like kind of best friends, you know. And so all of Class 1A who like all love and, you know, who all love Shinzo because, you know, he's their classmate. They want to save him. And he has a lot of potential as a hero, so the heroes also want to save him. And so the hideout raid arc happens. So this time, as when in canon it was Izuku, Momo, Ida, and Kirishima who went to save Katsuki. This time Izuku is replaced by Katsuki, and everybody goes to save Shinzo. Now, the villains took Shinzo because his quirk, in All For One's opinion, is incredible. It's incredibly strong. It will work on almost anybody because they don't know his quirk. And so they want to get him to, they want to convince him to become a villain, right? But Shinzo doesn't want to become a villain, he wants to become a hero, just like his idol, Eraserhead. So he doesn't give up. But at one point, everybody forgets about his quirk, and he asks Shigaraki to, she basically says some shit to Shigaraki, and Shigaraki answers back, but then he gets controlled, and Shinzo immediately tells him to unlock his chains, and Shigaraki does that, but everybody saw what Shigaraki just did and started rushing and started attacking Shinzo, but Shinzo managed to escape. Meanwhile, All For One appeared and teleported Shinzo to him. And this time, because All Might's injuries are much more severe than in canon, he can't stay in his buff form for a long time, for as long as he could in canon. So this time Katsuki and Shota stand up and help All Might because all the other heroes are busy. And so together they manage to almost beat All For One. And at one point All For One stands up and says, Katsuki Bakugo, the brother of Itsuki Bakugo, aka the Winter Soldier. Well, wouldn't you want to know where his memories are? I have them. Now you just need to join me, and I will give you his memories back. You can have your brother back. We can break him out of the prison, and it'll all be over. You can be with your brother again. And Katsuki is dumbstruck. He doesn't know what to do. He wants to save his brother, but All Might seeing this and understanding why Katsuki is hesitating, he is like, All For One, give me his memories and I'll let you go. And All For One's like, oh, so you'll let me go? I don't think so, All Might. But he forgot about Shota. Shota snuck up behind him and stabbed both of his limbs and stabbed both of his legs and arms from behind. Yeah, she did that. Then basically, All For One, who was holding a USB in his hand, it fell out, and Katsuki managed to grab it threw it to All Might, did a flip in the air, and basically exploded All for One's face, causing him to have even more injuries. And so now they have the USB for the memories, and basically All for One is taken in, and well, it's all good. After that, basically Bakugo and Shota, they get scolded by the police, and the police even want to arrest them because they participated in a villain attack when they didn't have their hero license. And so everybody knows that what they did is good, and basically, yes. So All for One still scolds Shota and Bakugo because of their recklessness, but he tells them to come to the hospital in 2 hours, and many people there will be present to see how Itsuki is doing. And we skip to 2 hours. We're in a room. Itsuki is sitting down, trying to break out of his handcuffs because he doesn't like being in them, but these are like extra strong. And so the people behind the glass are all of 1A, Nezu, Midnight, Aizawa, Naomasa, Best Genist. He also survived and wants to see the Winter Soldier recovering. All Might is there, and the Bakugo family, Endeavor and his family are there along with Shota. And everybody sees Shota again having flowers in her hands, so they really want Itsuki to recover. And so Susan, along with a few researchers, well, first of all, they know that the USB is the correct one. It says the Winter Soldier on it. And so, yeah. So they plug it into a cable and they attach the cable to Itsuki's head. And they start downloading the information to his head. Now, I'm not gonna say that's possible, but plot armor, had to do it. So they are downloading the memories, and as they are, Itsuki is screaming at the top of his lungs, basically screams of agony, pain, basically. At one point he broke the handcuffs and started holding his head, rolling on the ground on his knees, and everybody's worried, like, why is getting memories back so painful? And Susan says, well, it's my theory that All for One managed to place a code breaker that doesn't allow them to transfer safely. So he'll have to go through a bit of pain, but we checked, he'll survive, don't worry. And 2 minutes later, the people already worried because, well, Itsuki's still screaming, but at one point the scream stopped, and Itsuki is lying on the floor, breathing heavily, and they see the red glow in his eyes disappear, and they're like, oh, no more red glow. And basically, Itsuki is standing up, starting to stand up, and he looks at himself, looks around, looks at his metal arm, and then he looks at the glass. He summons a gun, shoots at the glass, breaking it. Everybody's already on guard, because the Winter Soldier, you never know what happens with him. But then everybody looks into his eyes, and at one point they're dead. They're dead, eyes full of nothing but nothingness, basically empty eyes. But then they see just a little spark of life in them, and Itsuki looks at his parents, then he looks at Bakugo, and then he looks at Shota. Then what happens next, nobody expects. Itsuki disappears from everybody's sight and appears right next to Bakugo. He looks at Bakugo right in the eye and the red glow appears again. He then punches Bakugo with his metal arm in the stomach, sending him flying towards the crater. And he then says, "That's for pushing me off a cliff, you dumbass." And then he looks at his parents and says, "Hey, you guys, I missed you." He hugs his parents, and they're all crying, except for Itsuki. He's tough. He then looks at Shota, and yeah, he hugs her. Like hugs her, like, you know, "I missed you." And then Shota pushes him away and gives him the flowers. And she says, "Do you remember me?" And he says, "What kind of question is that, Shota? Of course I remember you." And what happens next, nobody expects. Shota, she basically jumps on him and kisses him in the lips. Yep, it happened. And Itsuki doesn't know what's going on. He's a bit like, what? But in a few seconds, he answers. And 10 seconds later, Aizawa is like, "You guys know we're not alone." And Shota again stops the kiss, and she's blushing hard. Itsuki is just having a smile on his face, and he says, "Well, heroes, I mean, yeah, I remember all the things I did. I'm turning myself in officially now. I can give you all the victims. My kill count is about 156 kills, 20 heroes, 3 civilians, accidents, orders also. Most of them were politicians and dirty people." And everybody's shocked how he's just saying that with a calm face. And Endeavor is thinking something. "Hey, kid, I have an idea, and I think that most of us here agree. You were used by the League, right?" And Itsuki nods his head in agreement, saying, "Yeah, I was." And he says, that means that really wasn't your fault. You did the only thing that you could have done to live. And so, I don't think you are the one who needs to pay. We can just assign all those crimes to All for One. And tell to the public that the Winter Soldier was being controlled and manipulated. Not manipulated, it was being controlled by All for One. And that it's not his fault. And you can become a hero. Well, at least right now you need to be a student at UA. And Nazu thinks about this and he says, "Yes, I actually quite like that idea, but my question to you, young Bakugo, is, do you actually want to become a hero? Because you've been an assassin for how many years now? 10? 11 years?" And Itsuki thinks about this for a second and says, "I don't really want to become a hero. Is there something called, is there like a Black Ops or something? Because I will admit, I do enjoy secret missions and operations." And Nezu says, yes, there is such a task force. Actually, it was created by me. It's not widely known, but this task force does do the dirty work in killing and assassinating villains or dirty politicians that I deem unworthy to be kept alive. And I think that you'd be perfect to go there, but everybody who is in there has finished UA, so you'll have to stay there for at least 1 or 2 more years. How do you feel about that, young Itsuki?" And Itsuki thinks about this and he's like, "Sure. But where do I live?" And Nezu's like, oh, well, about that. Well, actually, it's time we announce it here. It's better. Well, we're planning to build dorms at UA, and of course you're gonna need to pass a psychological test for us to apprehend if you can even be there, if it's safe for the others, but I think you'll pass. And also, I'm planning to make you the combat instructor along with a student at UA. You're going to be responsible for a new lesson called hand-to-hand combat with no quirks. And also with quirks. You're going to be a double teacher. So you're going to be teaching the students combat using their quirks and without their quirks. How do you feel about that? And Itsuki says, sure, I'd like to beat up someone. Everybody gulps down because he said that in like a demonic voice. And he got that like grin on his face. But, yeah. So next day at the dorms, everybody's starting to move in, and people don't really quite realize that basically Itsuki is gonna be living with them. And so when they arrive and see nothing, they don't suspect anything. But everybody's already moved into their dorms when somebody knocks at the front door of their basically house, and they open, and they see All Might, Aizawa, and Endeavor all talking with like very interested looks to Itsuki, who's also there, who has a few bags with him, and Itsuki is showing them how to unload and reload a gun, a Glock in like in like less than 1 second, a quick way, and everybody's super interested because they've never seen that. And Mina is the one who actually answered the door, and she's like, "Oh, hello, All Might, Endeavor, Aizawa Sensei, and Bakugo." And Itsuki is like, "You can call me Itsuki. Call my brother Bakugo." And she's like, "Sure, but what are you doing here?" And Itsuki says, "Well, if you don't remember, I'm gonna be living with you all, so I'm just here to move into my dorm. Don't worry, I won't kill anybody." Mina again gulps at this because, he says it with such a calm voice. But everybody comes to the noise outside and they see Itsuki. Katsuki, like, Bakugo comes up and is like, "Yo, bro." And Itsuki's like, looking at him with like a untrusty looks, but then he changes it and says, "Yo, bro." Now, the reason they're all so passive, like literally Katsuki pushed his brother off a cliff. Well, yeah, Itsuki can forgive. But he still doesn't really trust his brother. But he's seeing that he regrets it, so he's fine with it. And everybody's like, "Why are you here?" And again, Mina explains that he's here to move into his dorm. And everybody remembers that he's going to be living with them from now on. So everybody tells him to follow them and show him the empty room. And Itsuki smiles and says thank you. And then 2 hours later, Mina suggests that they do a dorm competition. Everybody's his ass cannon. This time Bakugo. And Bakugo isn't asleep. So his room is just a typical room, nothing interesting. And when Itsuki saw this, because he was also looking, he was like, "Damn, you really got no taste, eh?" And then everybody looks at Itsuki and he's like, "Well, we haven't seen your room, so let's go see it." Itsuki says, "Well, sure, come along." And everybody is like having like holding their breath, like they don't know what they'll see. Maybe they'll see like hanged people there, or maybe they'll see like guns everywhere, or like blood everywhere. But no, when they come in, it's a room with like posters, of like rock bands and like recipes for something. Also, one wall has full of calligraphy. There's a table specifically for calligraphy. There's a bed, pretty normal bed. There's also a table with like a kitchen on it, a mini kitchen, and the place smells nice. And the place also has drum sets, a drum set, and two guitars, an electric guitar and a bass. And everybody's like, "Wait, what? But aren't you a soldier?" And each kid's like, "Well, soldiers can have interests too, you know." And Jiro is like, "Wait, but why do you have guitars? Don't tell me you." And Itsuki says, "Yeah, I can play guitar and drums as well." And then the guy who can cook like the sugar stuff is like, "Wait, you can also cook?" And Itsuki says, "Well, yeah. Actually worked part-time at a restaurant while I was on duty." And they're like, "Wait, what? A villain working at a restaurant?" And they're like, "Okay." But then everybody's like, "Why do you have calligraphy? Are you into calligraphy?" And he's like, "Well, I like calligraphy, but it's actually part of my quirk. You see, I've been working on something, developing something new. It's called quirk paralyzing seals. My quirk allows me to create seals, place seals, store objects in my seals. It's like my shock absorption and reflection seals on my metal arm. It's pretty simple, but calligraphy allows me to create more complex seals." And everybody's like, "Oh, so that's cool." And yeah. So at the end, everybody's like thinking who won, and they all decide that it's Itsuki, because yeah, he has so much stuff in there, and it's also cool. His cooking is on par with the Sugar Dude. He even played them a little guitar solo, which even Jiro like appreciated. It was so cool. Drums, calligraphy, nice room overall, very cool. And so Deku wins. And so the next day, the training for like the special moves begin, and this time it's ectoplasm, Midnight, and Cemento, along with All Might, and everybody's new instructor on combat is Itsuki Bakugo, aka the Winter Soldier. And so everybody's like, "Wait, he's also gonna be a teacher?" And Aizawa says, "Yeah, teacher for hand-to-hand combat with and without quirks, 2 lessons." And so everybody's like, "Cool, but is he that good at it?" And Itsuki's like, "Yeah, I'm that good at it. So now let's get working on your moves." And he gives everybody pointers on how they can use their quirks. And now he goes over to Bakugo. Now Bakugo is something about his All for One powers is that he has full cowl and the 100% thingy where he breaks the stuff. But he also has his explosions boosted. So yeah. I'm not gonna go into like the other quirks, he hasn't unlocked them yet, basically. So in terms of all for one percentages he can use, yeah, he's a bit stronger than Deku in canon. So I'm just gonna lower Katsuki's quirk a bit so that he can only do AP shot with all for one. With one for all, excuse me. With one for all. And so Itsuki is like, "Well, what if you condense the explosion in one single place and you can just create a beam of explosions?" And that's how basically AP shot was created for Shota. Basically what he wanted to do is, because fire can melt ice, if she creates enough ice and boosts and melts it with extremely hot flames, Yeah, she can create more like a tsunami wave, and she can also learn how to control her flames and ice to create more specific structures like spikes and stuff. So she's been training on that, along with basically just developing hand-to-hand combat styles so that she can fight with her quirk. Same with everybody else. And this time, all of 1A is much stronger because of Winter Soldiers present. And so, it's now time for the Provisional Hero License Exam arc. And, Itsuki Bakugo is actually one of the teachers who is in the stands, but he's got a very special role to play in this exam. So, when people are announced that basically they're going to have 3 targets on their bodies and people are going to have to hit them, he says that there is one special guest who's kind of like an obstacle for everyone. This person is going to have 10 targets all over his body, and basically he's going to be trying to knock everybody out, but if you manage to knock him out, you will immediately pass. Yeah, even if you manage to hit at least 1 point on his body, you pass. And so everybody's like, this is easy. So everybody's wanting to go for the Winter Soldier except for 1A, because they already know who this is. And so the Winter Soldier appears, and some people recognize him saying, "Oh, it's the Winter Soldier, run!" And All Might appears. No, not All Might, excuse me. Endeavor appears, who's the number 1, and says, do not fear." No, that's not him. He's like, "Everyone, it's okay. He's good guy now." And everybody is like a bit untrustworthy, but they're fine with it because everybody knows what the Winter Soldier can do, and not even that. Most people don't know his full strength. So the thing starts. The Winter Soldier starts his basically elimination battle in the center of the map, moving towards 1A, because he wants to test his student's strength. And also he wants to test his brother's strength specifically. And so, on his way there, many people try to attack him, but they just miss because he just dodges so swiftly. And in a split second, he goes behind them and hits all of their points with 1 ball. And everybody's almost out. Like, people are going out, like, second after second. And the examiner, he's like, are you sure that this is fair? And basically Nezu's like, yes, people shouldn't have underestimated him. This is a perfect opportunity for people to become stronger. And I realize that they aren't strong enough yet. But mostly the Winter Soldier is here to test his own students. That meaning 1A. And basically, Cammy, who's disguised as Cammy, is here for 2 reasons. For Bakugo, because she likes Bakugo this time, and also the Winter Soldier to see how he's doing, because he used to be part of the League, but now he's with the heroes. And so basically the Winter Soldier is having so much fun that he doesn't realize that Cammy is Toga. And so, yeah, that happens. But Toga gets eliminated as canon, and mostly everything goes as canon. But this time the Earthquake dude, I don't know if he passed, but let's say in canon he passed. This time he tried going for Winter Soldier because he thought that, weak. He's just 1A student and also a teacher. He forgot that he's a teacher also. And so he started doing earthquakes, but something that nobody's ever seen is that the Winter Soldier pulled out a few papers out of his pocket and placed them on the ground, and everybody's like, what did he just do? But when they saw what was happening, everybody opened their mouth. Everybody's jaw dropped. He reflected the ground attack, basically, fully reflecting it, and basically sending the earthquake dude flying. And then the meatball dude tried to attack as well. But yeah, no. Ain't gonna happen. My guy Deku just dodges everything and just punches him, just bitch slaps him away. And he actually bitch slaps almost everyone he sees. So that's kind of a thing. So the first exam goes almost as canon. And now it's time for the second one, where they have to save people. But this time, along with Gang Orca and his goons, the Winter Soldier also comes along. And everybody's scared of the Winter Soldier. So, Winter Soldier just sits, and he's just waiting for somebody to come and fight him. And that's when his hopes come true. Bakugo comes in and says, I want to fight you. And Itsuki's like, oh, big brother, always so impatient. But very well, let's have a little fight. And so, Bakugo activates full cowl and his explosions, and immediately does an AP shot. Deku dodges this by jumping in front, and is rushing like Naruto running towards Itsuki, pulling towards towards Katsuki. In the process, pulling out a baseball bat, and everybody who's seeing this on the cameras are like, is he actually fighting with a baseball bat? And Aizawa says, yes, we actually asked him about why he's always fighting with a baseball bat when he's with the students. And he says, well, it's to not kill them, just to hurt them a bit. And everybody gulps down. Even All Might, who's also there watching. You know, to not kill them, just to hurt them a bit, that's harsh. But the fight begins with Katsuki trying to explode Itsuki's face. Itsuki dodges it and hits Katsuki with a bat in his jaw, sending Katsuki back a bit, but Bakugo doesn't give up. He shoots himself forward, propels himself forward with his explosions, basically trying to kick Itsuki in his chest, but Itsuki just catches his foot with one pinky. Then he grabs his foot with the whole arm and basically places a paralyzing seal with his other one, and Katsuki's out. So that's basically how the whole provisional exam arc goes. This time they did pass Katsuki because before he went to fight Itsuki, he did save a bunch of people, because remember, here Katsuki wants to become a hero to save people and not allow people like what he did to his brother, not to allow things like what he did to his brother happen again, basically. So first he saved the people, then he went to fight, and so he passed, along with Shota, who's a lot kinder here. Still cold, she's still Ice Queen, but not that bad, because Endeavor, good dad. And I'll just say that Endeavor here, yeah, everybody likes him. Like, if in canon most people liked him, it was like a half and half. Here, everybody likes him, and people think that he deserves the #1 spot. And so, yeah. So this time everybody passes except for... Fine, everybody passed. I'm not gonna be a bad guy and not pass someone. So yeah, everybody passed from canon. Along with Bakugo and Shota. So now it's time for the Mirio arc, like the Overhaul arc. So basically what happens is, when the big three are introduced, the person standing in at the stands where the teacher is the Winter Soldier, and Mirio is a bit confused, like, hey, why is a student on the podium? And Itsuki says, I'm actually teacher. And he's like, but how old are you? And Itsuki says, I'm the same age as all of 1A. And Mirio's like, are you sure you're allowed to be up here? And Itsuki's like, hey man, you got any problem? We can deal with it. And so Mirio wants to test his strength to see if he's actually a good opponent. He's like, sure, let's go have a little fight and show the kids what a real fight is. And they go, and people ask like, who is that kid, the buff kid? And Nejire and Tamaki said, yeah, he's the strongest of the big three. I don't think that kid has a chance. He's just too strong. Not even we can beat him. And then Katsuki like chuckles at this and says, huh, you not even the pro heroes have seen his full strength. So your friend there better watch out, basically. And right now, all of 1A, the big three, and a few teachers are watching. Mirio and Itsuki get into a fighting stance on two different sides of the place. And yeah, they get on two different sides of the stadium. And they say 3, 2, 1, start. Mirio starts running, same as Itsuki. Itsuki doesn't know about his quirk, but he's thinking that it's maybe like a strength quirk or something like that. He doesn't expect permeation, but he's ready for anything. And so, when Itsuki's about to punch Mirio in the face, Mirio faces through it and tries to go in behind Itsuki, but Itsuki has extreme reaction speed and agility, so he ducks under and basically open palm slaps him in the chest, basically sending him back and knocking almost all of the air out of his lungs. And when Nejire and Tamaki saw this, their jaws just dropped, and all of 1A are impressed because, you know, Mirio got himself up. He's like, impressive, you're actually the first one to land such a good hit on me. And so, yeah, he goes and he runs again at Deku, but because he's already like almost out of air and stuff, he's fighting a bit worse and a bit sloppy, and Winter Soldier sees this and he's like, your fighting style is getting sloppy. You should just finish it with one blow. And Mirio takes his advice because he doesn't know better, and so he goes underground and jumps from behind while Itsuki isn't looking, and he wants to do the like the poke thingy, the fake poke thingy, but when his hand is about to go to the eye of Itsuki, Mirio thinks that Itsuki's gonna close his eye and turn away, but in fact Itsuki doesn't. He just stands there looking straight at the hand, and Mirio is like, oh shit, he really doesn't, he's not gonna go for it. Still have to try it though. So he permeates through Itsuki's face and the whole body of Itsuki, and tries going behind, but basically right as his punch is about to hit Itsuki's back, Itsuki catches his punch with his middle arm and like squints it, like basically Mirio loses because he's out of breath and he's tired. And so everybody's like, wow. And so everybody sees that they could have never done something like this, so they see that they have to get stronger. And then don't really remember how it went, but the announcements get and go, and basically Katsuki, who was also tested by Mirio at a later time, and all of 1A was also tested by Mirio at a later time, he got invited to Sir Night-Eye along with Itsuki, because Mirio thinks that Itsuki will become great pals with Sir Night-Eye. And when Night-Eye hears that Itsuki's gonna be coming to his agency, he's like excited because even though Itsuki was a villain, he was extremely strong and powerful, and Sir Night-Eye does respect him for his strength, you know. And so they come, and it's time for the patrol. Basically, Sir Night-Eye tests Katsuki, and it goes as canon, but Katsuki's a bit stronger. So Sir Night-Eye does accept Katsuki, you know. He feels fine about it. And it's time for the patrol. Katsuki, Mirio, and Deku are walking, and they see a little girl. Itsuki immediately goes to the girl and asks what happens. And she asks for help, but then the Yakuza guy appears, and Itsuki immediately recognizes him. He looks straight into the eye of Overhaul, and then he looks at Eri and whispers something in her ear. What he said was, "Don't worry, we'll save you. Just hold on for just a little bit. We'll come for you, I promise." And Eri, she never believes anyone, but she feels the honesty in his voice, so she nods and goes with Overhaul. Overhaul is very suspicious because he remembers this person. It's the Winter Soldier, and he knows that the Winter Soldier has met him before, so he's like on guard. And so Mirio and Katsuki like, "Why'd you let her go? She asked for help." And Itsuki said, "That man was Overhaul. We cannot fight him here. The collateral damage and the casualties will be very grave. We need to assemble a hero force and raid his base. I know exactly where it is. I used to work there." And Katsuki's like, "Okay, let's run." So they went to Night-Eye and told him about the thing. The whole hero thingy was gathered, and the raid happened, basically. This time, Katsuki is also fighting with Itsuki to beat Overhaul, because I'm powering Overhaul up a bit, like a lot, and I'm gonna make it like the movie where he gives him part of the One for All power, and they're using it. Basically, Eri is with Itsuki because Itsuki can't really control One for All, so she's on top. She's like in his scarf, basically. And Itsuki does the finishing blow on Overhaul. Not good at fighting scenes, so just imagine it. And basically, Overhaul is defeated by Itsuki after Itsuki kicks him with a 100% smash into the ground. 100% kick smash into the ground, and Overhaul's done for. Basically, Eri is saved. And Itsuki tells her that he's gonna place a quirk canceling seal on her for the time being, so that she doesn't hurt anyone accidentally. But he assures her that he's gonna be there and he's gonna be one of the people to help her control her quirk. And she immediately is happy, so he places the seal, and Eri's fine. The seal is on her arm, basically. And so the whole thing is sorted out, and people see on the news that the Winter Soldier literally defeated a villain and is working with the heroes. And everybody's like, "Why is the Winter Soldier fighting with the villains? Why is he fighting against the villains? Wasn't he a villain himself?" And Nezu and Aizawa have to basically go to the public again and say that the Winter Soldier is with them now. He was being used by the League, being brainwashed, but they freed him from the brainwashing, and now he's with them. He's a teacher at UA, teaching the students hand-to-hand combat with and without quirks, and that he's a very good asset to the Hero Society. And people surprisingly saw what he did, and what he did to Overhaul, and everybody's like, "Hell yeah, let's go. Yeah, we accept him," which is very strange for the public. There's almost no salty people. which is very weird. But he's glad that he doesn't like get like heat. Basically, he doesn't get like too much bad attention. So it's time for the festival. And by festival, I mean the school festival, the one where they did the concert. So here, it's just something fun I wanted to do. But Itsuki, well, they're doing the roles, like who's gonna do what, and it's time for Itsuki, and the whole class is like interested in like what he can do, and Itsuki says, "What do you want me to do?" And Mina goes first, and she asks him, "Can you dance?" And my guy Itsuki just starts breakdancing the heck out of everything. He just starts like twirling in the air and everything, like what Mina does but better. He can like do backflips in the air, and then he lands and is like, "Yeah, I can dance." And then Jiro is like, "Can you play instruments?" And he's like, "Which one?" Jiro says, "Drums, maybe." He plays them a bit of drums, like it sounds cool, fire, like the beats are cool. And he says, "I can also play guitar." And they give him an electric guitar, and he just starts shredding on it, like, yeah, just shredding the guitar, like playing Thunderstruck along with My Little Pony theme song, basically. Yeah, he's playing them that My Little Pony theme song, AC/DC inspired. Yeah. And then Shota asks him, "Can you sing?" And everybody's like looking at Deku like, "Come on." And he's like, "Yeah, I can sing." And he sings them a bit along with his guitar and moving around the stage, and everybody's like, "Yo, this guy." So they settle for this. Basically, everybody's roles are as canon, but this time because Shota is more willing to use her fire, there's gonna be some fire effects as well. So yeah, and she's also gonna be one of the dancers, because I'm just gonna say she's good at dancing. But the main two people is Katsuki at the drums. No, not the main two people, but like the main people are Katsuki at the drums, Kaminari with like a background guitar, like what's his name? Tsukuyomi? No, the bird dude. Yeah, the bird dude has the bass, and Jiro and Itsuki are duetting the thing. Both of them got guitars, like playing the whole thing. So yeah, but imagine the My Hero song they sing there, but just like with duet. So it sounds great. I'm not gonna sing, cause no, just no. Although I did used to do singing, but no, I'm not gonna sing. So don't even think about it if you did, but whatever. So they do the concert. Everybody likes it, and Aries watching. She likes it as well. Everybody is like, "Yo, the Winter Soldier's a cool dude." And something I forgot to mention, but his daily clothes. Well, right now he's wearing the outfit for the thing, not the thing for like the concert, but his daily outfit is I must say it's a brown. It's a brown tank top with like a zip up. It was like a zip up sweater, and some jeans and some boots. Yeah, regular things, you know. And so everybody likes the concert. Everyone enjoys it. Again, amazing. So now, spoilers ahead. Keep in mind, I haven't watched season 5 because I don't want to. But I read some of the manga, and if you don't want any spoilers from the manga, I just suggest not going further. Wait for the whole thing to come. Just read the manga and maybe come back here. But you know, if you don't really mind it, keep watching, keep listening. I don't know who does anybody watch what it's like stare at this blank screen? I just listened to it like an audiobook. I don't know. But it's time for the joint training, and this time, basically, the special like MVP of the whole thing is the Winter Soldier. He's gonna be against all of 1B and some of 1A, whoever wants to. And most of 1A don't want to, but you know, Bakugo is like, sure, I'll try myself out. Along with Shota, they want to test their strength against Itsuki. And 1B, they're like, ha, he can't do anything. Come on, he's just one guy. But what they don't know is that, yeah, no. Now, one thing, Itsuki never talks during battle. He just, yeah, no. He's wearing his like outfit you see on the screen, all of that military stuff. And they say start, and people are like sprinting around trying to find him. Itsuki is thinking of how he wants to do this in two halves, one half silently, taking about half of them out, and then the rest just all out brawl. So he's going around just knocking people, just neck chopping people in the back, hitting them lightly with a bat on their forehead and knocking them out, or like twisting like their thumbs or something so they get knocked out. Basically, he knocked out about a half of the students out, and all the rest he managed to gather them in the center of the whole arena place. And so he appears to the left of everyone, and everybody looks at him. And Shinzo's like, "Give up! There's more of us than you." Itsuki, under his mask, just smirks at this, and takes out a BB gun he got for training. So it's a BB pistol, like a semi-automatic pistol. And yeah, he also got out a baseball bat. Bro, baseball bats are overpowered. I don't know why I like baseball bats, but they're just so cool. So he pulled out a baseball bat and an airsoft pistol, and he just starts shooting at everyone. And it's implied that like whoever gets shot is out. Everybody understands that, so yeah. But immediately in the first 2 seconds, he manages to knock out Shinzo, the poltergeist girl. I don't remember her name. The one with the white hair from 1B. Also the Vine girl, and some other irrelevant people. Also, yeah, some other irrelevant people. And the people who are left are, Bakugo, Shota, Monoma, Kendo, and some other irrelevant people. But those are the ones that matter, basically, yeah. And like the fire truck girl, her costume looks like a fire truck. So yeah. But Kendo immediately makes her fist, like enlarges her fist, but Itsuki, like the badass he is, just whips out a paralyzing seal, goes behind her, and just places it on top of, like on her neck, and basically making her fall to the ground. Monoma, seeing this, is like, no, I'm gonna destroy you. So he runs towards Deku, and Deku knows about his quirk, but he just wants to see something. And basically Monoma touches him, and everybody's surprised that the Winter Soldier allowed Monoma to touch him, although he knows about his quirk. So everybody's like, yo, did Monoma just catch him off guard? But then Monoma tries to copy his quirk, but nothing happens. Just nothing. And so Deku's like, as I thought, it's a mutation quirk. And Monoma's like, what? You have a mutation? God damn. And Itsuki just grins and just punches him straight in the face, sending him back towards the wall, creating a giant crater. And the only people who are left are Shota and the Bakugo. And Itsuki throws his gun away and puts it back in his seal, whips out double baseball bat. Yeah. one has A on it, and the other one has B on it, and yeah, he's got the A and B bats, basically. So he Naruto runs there, blitzing at them at insane speeds that could maybe rival All Might currently. So incredibly fast. Even Bakugo, who has one for all, doesn't really have time to react. So he gets punched in the face by Itsuki's metal arm, and Shota gets like sent back by his normal arm. But because for some reason, Itsuki doesn't really want to hurt her. He still doesn't know what he's feeling, because it's hard for him to remember stuff, to feel the same way he did when he was little. But he just doesn't want to hurt her, wants to protect her, So that is happening. And then Shota gets up and she shoots ice spikes at him along with fire behind it to basically not allow him to go. And Itsuki sees this and he's like, oh, nice strategy, but I forgot about my seals. So he just absorbed the ice spikes and repelled them. Meanwhile, just absorbing the fire in his hand into a little scroll he has and placing it in his pocket. And everybody's like, whoa, where did the fire just go? And Aizawa says his quirk is very powerful and interesting. He just sealed her fire away and he's going to be able to use it at a later moment. It's incredibly powerful when used correctly, and Itsuki uses his quirk at its limit. It's at its peak. He's perfectly utilizing all his abilities, and this makes him practically invincible. And Shota's like, oh god, I forgot about those, but what did he do to my fire? And Itsuki is grinning under his mask, and he rushes at Shota. Shota tries to shoot an ice glacier at him. Itsuki just breaks through it with a solid punch, basically getting into a hand-to-hand combat fight with Shota. He goes for a right jab. Shota ducks under, trying to kick him in the chest. Itsuki feints and just kicks her lightly, putting a bit of a shockwave. Kicking her lightly, making a bit of a shockwave. No, I'm kidding. So he just kicked her lightly away. It caused a crater in the wall. Yeah, that's Itsuki's way of lightly. And everyone's like, yo, he kicked the girl! And Itsuki is like, and Aizawa is like, yeah, for Itsuki, that's a light kick. And everybody from 1B and some people from 1A are like, what? He's that strong and that's just a light kick for him? But that's impossible. But what? How? So, the only person that's left is Bakugo. Bakugo is doing his explosions. He's exploding towards Itsuki. He's not saying I'll kill you because he doesn't want to say that. But he's doing a little battle cry. And Itsuki grins under this and says, nice battle cry, Bakugo, but you sound like a Pomeranian. And everyone starts laughing, but Bakugo is like, you're literally my brother, so you look like a Pomeranian too. And Itsuki says, at least I can back my barks up. And so this puts a tick mark on Bakugo's face, and he basically starts going all out, not understanding what he's doing. And he's sending AP shots everywhere, blitzing or exploding around the field. Basically, Itsuki is having a bit of trouble tracking him, but he's fine. So he whips out a giant baseball bat, custom made, is 3 meters high and very wide. So it's a giant baseball bat, and he just starts spinning around in a 360. And at one point he releases it, and at that time Bakugo is in the certain area that Itsuki wanted the bat to hit, and basically the bat just goes straight into Bakugo, sending him into a wall, causing another crater. And that is how 1B and part of 1A got defeated by a single man. Yep. And so after An hour later, when everybody woke up, they all gather in the field, and Itsuki goes and sits, like squats, and says, "You all did a pretty good job against me. Well, most of you. The others were a bit lacking behind." And he gives them tips on how to improve. Each person gets at least one tip on how to improve, and everybody's impressed about, like, he could tell what our downsides were just from one fight. And yeah, basically everyone's impressed and everybody likes him. You know, he's cool. And so it's time for the 1A to go to Nobu Island to help out the people there. Itsuki goes along instead of Aizawa as a sort of he goes there as a half instructor to supervise and also to learn a bit about helping people, like rescuing stuff, because he's not very good at that. He's just good at fighting. And so they go there and they meet the kid with like the cell quirk, and Itsuki is really he really likes the place. It keeps him at peace. But then like a giant explosion and like sort of like a balloon of Bakugo appears in the air, and this catches Itsuki's attention. So he runs there immediately because he remembers that the girl's quirk was sort of illusions, and if she did that, something must be wrong. Something must have gone wrong. And when he arrives, he sees Nine throwing back Katsuki and about to grab hold of the boy, but Itsuki comes in and kicks Nine. But Nine is fine still. He is starting to activate like his barrier quirk along with his lightning quirk, along with his weather manipulation. Basically, Itsuki, even though he's incredibly skilled, he just doesn't have enough time to react. So he gets sent back by the barrier and gets struck by lightning, along with Katsuki, and they're both incredibly injured. But because Nine used two of his quirks at one time, at the same time, he's pumping in a lot of life support juice into himself, and that's having a big toll on him. And so now, when they're both like very low, like very beaten up, Katsuki goes for the last case scenario move. He shares part of one for all with Itsuki, and they start getting a huge power up. Basically, the moment they did that, Bakugo stood up, had his hair like up, and he started creating a giant explosion at the same time. At the same time, something weird started happening to Itsuki. Now, Itsuki is stood up, and his eyes are like fully white, and his hair is like in the wind, and it's like an awakening scene. And this is exactly what it is. And Bakugo sees this, but he ignores it because they need to deal with Nine. So he shoots an AP shot right at Nine. It's like a powered up AP shot. But what happens next, nobody expects. Like, neither Bakugo nor Itsuki expect. Itsuki manifests black tendrils out of his body and just shoots them at Nine, basically holding him in one place. And this holds Nine at like one place and causing the AP shot to go straight at him. This just, yeah, it knocks. It just deals with Nine, basically, giving him third-degree burns everywhere, injuries, broken ribs, bones, everything. Yeah, he's practically almost dead. And the heroes arrive, and both Bakugo and Itsuki, they fall to the ground unconscious. The heroes arrive, All Might Aizawa, everyone, all of 1A, they Shota sees Itsuki on the ground and starts like tending to his wounds and stuff. And one for all, All Might and Aizawa go there, check up, and Bakugo is still holding on to consciousness, and he says, "I'm sorry, All Might. I had to give One for All to Itsuki." And All Might hears this, he's shocked, but he's like, it's alright, young Bakugo." But then what happens next, like shocks everyone. Both Itsuki and Bakugo start having like these markings all over their bodies. Basically the One for All markings, like the lines all over their bodies. And All Might says, "Incredible. One for All split itself into two, and now there's 2 users of One for All. Incredible. But that means more villains will come after them. They need to train." And Bakugo said right before he passed out again, he said, "Oh my, Itsuki manifested some sort of weird black tendrils out of his body. I don't know what that is, but..." And he just passes out. And All Might is like, "What? He manifested Black Whip? What? First time he used One for All, he manifests a new quirk? Whoa. Oh my god, if that fuses with the quirk he already has, it's gonna be practically unstoppable." And that is exactly what happens. Basically, what was happening inside Itsuki's body is his Fuinjutsu quirk fusing with Black Whip to create sort of like adamantine stealing chains, but in like the Black Whip form. They're not chains, they're whips. So they can seal people in them and transfer them into like scrolls, attack, defense, sealing, and also whipping people, with the whole thingy. And his quirk is much more powerful than the original users. And he also developed 2 other sort of quirks. It was Air Force, basically allow him to create air shockwaves everywhere, and also Danger Sense. Basically, it's like a personal radar and like it's like a Spidey sense, if you didn't know. But that is what happened. And 2 days later, people wake up. Itsuki is still unconscious. Katsuki is in his bed, trying to see if he still has One for All, and he realizes that he does have, because he can go into full cowl, and so he's like, "So what happened to Itsuki?" And All Might comes in and says, "Well, it seems that both of you now have One for All. The quirk didn't just divide itself and multiplied itself by 2 and split itself between you two. It seems that the predecessors deemed both of you worthy of their quirks. Very amazing. It's incredible." And so another day later, Itsuki wakes up, and it's winter outside, and so he's like, it's cold, but he's like waking up, and he's like looking all over his body, and he's like, I feel weird for some reason. And Katsuki, who sees that his brother woke up, says, "Hey Itsuki, are you okay? Are you fine?" Itsuki says, "Yeah, but what happened? I remember us fighting 9, and at one point it all went blank when we were just, something happened." And Katsuki's like, "Oh, you don't remember? Basically what happened is I shared my quirk with you, and now we both have One for All." Now, this implies that Itsuki already knows about One for All, because Katsuki told him, because he trusts him, So he knows. And Itsuki says, "Huh, so now I have your quirk. Does that mean you're weaker now?" And Katsuki says, "No, the quirk actually multiplied itself and split it into 2. So now I'm equally as powerful as I was before, but you are much more powerful than you were before. So now it basically makes you undefeatable. But you need to train with this power. I can teach you a few tips I learned." And Itsuki's like, huh, that's perfect. And so it's actually a week before Christmas, but currently Itsuki and Bakugo, All Might, and Aizawa are in a training ground at UA, and they're all testing out Itsuki's new quirk, and they see that he can manifest Black Whip pretty much at will, but he still needs a bit of control over it. He learns that he needs to feel the like he wants to catch something, like he wants to bind something. They get a bit of a handle on his Air Force, so he can shoot himself up in the air and stuff like that. And they also try to develop his danger sense, which they learned he has when he accidentally dodged an impossible kick from Katsuki, which nobody could have dodged. Not even nobody. It was just impossible to dodge. But Itsuki just saw it coming for some reason. So now they're trying to teach him full cowl, and Itsuki is very good at learning, so he manages to get it in about an hour, and his full cowl basically looks like black lightning all over his body. Basically same as Midoriya's, but black. It's just black, like pitch black, and this boosts overall stats. Now what Katsuki has developed right now. Now I'm gonna change something. Basically, the overall strength of Katsuki didn't lower, but he's not gonna be able to have Black Whip or Air Force or Danger Sense because he has already explosions, and he is left with super strength, super speed, super agility, and the other abilities that are left from One for All. But basically, still extremely overpowered if he trains correctly. Sorry, I'm making Itsuki so overpowered, but I just had to do it. So it's not time for Christmas, and all of 1A is gathering at the dorms. Eri is there, Aizawa is there, All Might is there, everyone's there. Endeavor is there. Everyone's celebrating Christmas, and at one point Shota realizes that her and Itsuki are sitting under the mistletoe, and she has a great idea. So she calls out for Itsuki. Itsuki turns around, and she just kisses him. Yeah. With passion. Yeah. And she's giving him a kiss, and Itsuki at first he's like, what? But then he responds. And yeah, they start kissing, and everybody looks at them and then they see the mistletoe, and they're like, oh, I see. And Endeavor is crying a bit, shedding a little tears of joy, and Katsuki is having a proud face because that's his brother, he's proud. And All Might is thumbs up, good job. And so, yep, they have a good Christmas night. Nope, they didn't do it yet. Keep in mind the yet. So nothing is happening right now. No, perverts. So, it's time for the Endeavor Agency arc. Itsuki, Shota, and Bakugo all intern to Endeavor's agency. And when they arrive there, Endeavor is trying to look tough in front of his new interns, yeah, I'm the coolest, I'm the number one hero. But everyone knows how Endeavor is kind and all. And so yeah. But basically Endeavor praises Itsuki for his abilities, but says that he tells all three of his interns that hero work is not all about battle. His agency has 3 main rules: rescue, evacuation, and battle. So all those 3 points matter. And he gave them a task that they're gonna be patrolling with him, and they need to catch a villain faster than him. And so they can't do it, even though Itsuki is very good at the whole battle thing. He's not good at saving people. So they're having a bit of trouble, like in canon. And so they go to Endeavor's house, and everybody sees them. And when Fuyumi sees Bakugo, she blushes. So Fuyumi is aged down a bit, 1 year older than Shoto. So yeah, so she sees Bakugo and she's blushing. Not Itsuki, she's blushing when she sees Katsuki. And she like shakes her head and says nope, not right now. And she looks at Itsuki and then looks at Shota and like it's like suspicious. And she asks Itsuki is like, what is your relationship with my younger sister? And Itsuki says bluntly, I like her. And everybody like spits their water out like, what? And Shota is like, yeah, she's her face is redder than her hair, basically. If you can imagine that, imagine that. And so Endeavor is like, damn, that was blunt, man. But okay. Fuyumi is like, good job, I approve. Natsuo was like, oh god, what? Okay, nice. And they all have a talk. And not gonna go into like the emotional stuff they talked about in there. But Itsuki learns that Endeavor at one point wasn't a very good dad. And because of that, their older brother Toya Todoroki died. But Itsuki has his suspicions because he has seen Dabi before, and the quirk that they described is extremely similar to Toya's quirk, to Dabi's quirk. So he's being a bit suspicious, but he doesn't say anything. So the Endeavor arc does end the same way. They all rush and battle to save Natsuo when he's attacked by like that crazy villain dude who wants Endeavor to kill him. So they all rush into battle. Itsuki just black whips the heck out of the villain, and Bakugo just explodes his arms and legs and basically immobilizes him. Shota covers him in ice and yeah, restraining order. So that's all fine and done. But now it's time for the arc that's pretty. This is the coolest thing ever. Basically, freaking cool, man. It's so cool. Just cool, man. Now, it's time for the Paranormal Liberation War arc. Reed Destro looks like a burnt. He looks like a. What does he look like? What does Reed Destro look like? He looks like a vegetable, like a certain vegetable. I can't remember how it's called, but he looks like a potato carrot. A mix between a potato and a carrot, basically. So, Deku is this time leading the rescue squad, and the other squad is led by Endeavor, and the other one's like led by somebody else, right? So, there's these three squads, and they hear the girl talking to Endeavor over the thing, and they hear her saying that basically Shigaraki wants one for all, and they immediately realize what's happening, and Endeavor also knows what's happening because he's being let in on the thing, but he says, keep Itsuki and Katsuki out of there. But when she turns around to find them, they're already gone, and she says, Endeavor, they're gone. They're already there, probably. And Endeavor says, shit. So he's getting ready to protect those two. And basically, they appear, and Shigaraki has already dealt so much damage to the city, but he appears and says, give me one for all. I need it. He's like a SpongeBob. Yeah, I need it. I need it. But he's not saying I don't need it, he just needs it. And so, basically the fight happens as canon. Itsuki is doing most of the damage with his black whip and like his punches. They're both doing equal damage. Itsuki is holding Tomura back with his stuff. Is holding Tomura with black whip, and meanwhile Katsuki is exploding the shit out of his face. Meanwhile Aizawa is erasing his healing quirk, and Aizawa gets hurt as canon. So now Tomura can heal, but I don't quite remember how they defeat him. But no, they don't even defeat them. But this time, I'm just gonna say that basically Itsuki has to go for the most insane thing he can do as a hero. At one point, he jumps to Endeavor and says, "Endeavor, this man cannot be kept alive. I know how to kill him, but keep in mind, kill. He cannot be kept alive. There's just actually no way to defeat him if we don't destroy his brain. So we need to go for the last case scenario move." And Endeavor realizes that, yes, this is the only way, so they need to kill Shigaraki, because this man is just unstoppable. And so Shigaraki is like, "What? You're not gonna be able to do anything to me, heroes. You can't even kill." And he's doing like the evil laugh. I can't do evil laughs. Oh god. I'm cringing from just listening to myself. Oh god. But Itsuki at one point again restrains him with Black Whip, and Katsuki launches himself forward, basically doing a sucker punch straight into his jaw. And Itsuki lets go of the Black Whips, at the same time air forcing on top. Tomura sends like those weird metal things at Deku, but because of danger sense, Deku just avoids it in the air. And Tomura's like, "What? How could you avoid that in midair?" And Itsuki sends himself again, propelling towards Tomura with Air Force. And Tomura is like, "What, are you gonna punch me again?" But Itsuki at one point just summons a very long katana and just rams through Tomura's head. Basically, yeah, Tomura is dead. Brain is destroyed. Tomura just didn't expect the hero to try to kill him, so he got caught off guard and basically he's dead. So, at this point, basically, they take his body and the remains, and I'll say that All for One can't transfer itself. So, basically, when the brain got destroyed, the All for One inside of Tomura's brain and his mindscape type of thingy also got destroyed because no more brain activity. Because nobody was expecting a hero to kill a villain, so nope. Yep, Tomura, All for One, all that is done. And something I forgot to mention is Dabi's appearance. Dabi appearance says, I have a great name, call me Toya. And this time I'll just say he appeared right after Tomura died. And he's like, well, even though I can't broadcast this, I'll just kill you, Endeavor, and let my family be free. And Itsuki immediately restrains Dabi with Black Whip, and Dabi just isn't expected anything. He thinks that the hero's just gonna let him rattle on for a long time, like heroes usually do. But Itsuki ain't all about that. I'm gonna wait for you to finish your 30 episode talk about how the world is unfair, you know. So he just restrains him with Black Whip, and he's like, and he pulls Dabi up by the hair and says, "Listen up, you. I know Endeavor might have done some shit in the past, but from what I've seen, after you disappeared, he changed and became probably the best father I've ever seen. Well, except my father. My father's the best, but whatever. So, don't you dare go crazy on everyone, you know. You know your siblings were worried about you. And Endeavor, when he hears that Dobby called himself Toya, he starts crying like a girl and runs towards Toya and goes on his knees and says, "I'm so sorry." He starts apologizing for every little thing the world has done to anyone. He's apologizing for the Crusades. He's apologizing for the Russian Revolution. He's apologizing for everything. And Toya sees how Shota is like crying again and looking at him with like a smile, seeing that how her big brother is alive. This time Toya is gonna be very close with Shota because when they were little. But yeah, for Yumi and Natsuo who see this on TV, Endeavor crying and Shota crying and the man restrained, they immediately realize what's happening. You know, the brother, the sibling bond, all that. So they all start crying. The mother their mother, who is still in the mental hospital because she did that to Shota, is also crying because her eldest son is alive. And Dobby does get taken into Tartarus, but they say that because they can see that he changed, they're gonna make his sentence not that harsh and just say that he's gonna be watched at all times. So yeah. And so Dobby is fine. Everyone's fine. And well, it's now been 2 weeks after the whole Paranormal War arc, and everyone's like keep getting themselves like mentally readying themselves for like burying the casualties. There's going to be held a mass funeral for everyone who died because yes, casualties were inevitable. Like many people died. Even though it could have been a lot worse, people still died. Heroes can't save everyone. But this time, again, the public is acting very weirdly. Nobody blames Itsuki for killing the villain. They all, like, thank him when they see him. Itsuki is a celebrity now. And all of the gang, like, Endeavor is, like, a true number one because he helped everyone. Dobby is... nobody really knows about Dobby, so yeah. Shota, Bakugo are all popular now. All of 1A are, like, popular. They helped a lot. So, the funeral was held, and we do a month time skip. After everyone's settled down, it's peaceful again, and we see Shota and Itsuki on a date, just talking about everything in a restaurant, having a fun time, enjoying themselves. And 2 hours later, we see them in a room, lights are dim, and the hormones kick in, and they start doing the homework. You know, homework. Happy ever after. I'm not gonna tell you how many kids they have. They have Boruto, no, and no Suzuki attack. No, I'm kidding. So yeah, hormones kicked in, and many times after that, Itsuki has good pull-out game, so don't worry. But they do have kids, and yep, they're strong. Cool. Hope you guys. This was my first ever Deku What If, My Hero Academia What If. I'm sorry for like the quality or like confusing storyline maybe, but I actually tried working really hard on making this. Had to reread all of the manga, rewatch some episodes, like do a lot of research and stuff. So I hope you do enjoy. Sorry for not describing fights very well. I'm not good at describing, but I still hope you enjoyed. Like, subscribe, comment. Sorry for spoiling manga stuff, but yeah. I again, this was my first ever Deku What If. So I hope you enjoyed, and have a great day or night or whatever time it is for you. But bye.